Alrighty, let's see. Is the audio synchronization right? Probably not. Guess we'll find out. Minimize that. Let's see, here we go. Can't do much else. Let's see, what do I gotta do? I just gotta get a couple of screens. I got 6 and an 8. This will be fine. Hey Greg, John Hugh Lockhart, Christian, impeccable timing for the commute. Yes, I did it all intentionally for you. Let's see, I've got to find my screens. Don't worry, this is going to hopefully have more than just screen repairs on this stream, but I just need to get these ones sorted out now. Okay, that's you. Yeah, black 8. Geez, I better. Yep, thank goodness I do have one. Alright. Let's flip over to topside view. Yep, lopside, topside. And we'll just get straight into these so that we can get into the interesting things a little as quick as possible. Let's see. Got any picture on here? Nope. Completely dead. Suits me. Let's get into this. And it seems that the weather is turned up on the nasty side today, and it's causing my bench to buckle. I really have to improve the design of this bench one of these days. I really didn't want to come out that. By the way, the lighting's a little bad at the moment because my overhead 40 watt LED system just all of a sudden died last night, so I've got no fill light coming in from above. Hey Ruggers. Also, there's not going to be many people on this stream today because it isn't pretty much at the dead zone for everybody. Okay. Just quickly zip through this 6. Hopefully not so quick that we make a mess of it, but hopefully quick enough that we don't linger. We could go quicker if we left things out, but we don't do that. Come on. There you go. Hey Greg, Jack Jarowitz. In a while, yes it has. You're recovering from a bike crash, concussion, injury. Oh crikey. So what, another, is that motorbike or push bike? Not good. I'm sure Lewis can commiserate with you. Alright, bin job. Just sort of tight. Trying to find a doorbell transformer in the house. Oh my. That's when you just cut the cable and start again. I don't bother reusing something old. Make sure there's no grit on the back there. You leave grip between those two and it comes up as a very nice little hotspot on the display. And you're going to do it all over again. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying these Vero drivers. They're much better than the ones I had before. I mean, hell, they cost a hell of a lot more, but they're worth it. Yep, except when I botch up like that. In you go. There you go. Good job. And unfortunately that's not even close to being sticky, so I need to get some tape. So it's not in the usual place. Oh, okay. Didn't realise there was meant to be a usual place for those things. I thought contractors just put them anywhere. Preferably somewhere extremely obscure so that you have to call them up to get it replaced or fixed or found. Oh, wasted about 3 seconds there trying to pick that paper off. Oh, you too? I blame the janky tweezers. They're not gonna chat back at me, so I can blame them without any repercussions. Seriously? Come on. Homemade e-bike. Front hub decided wanted to come loose off the side. Oh, man. Brutal. You think it might have been vibration related? You know how those things can act funny when they have the vibrations and it just sort of causes a very slow but definite unscrewing of everything. Hey Sonia? Oh man, I didn't even have my camera scene switcher on, so I better turn that on. Okay. Let's get this lined up moderately well. Yeah, that'll do. The rest I can do by feel. Come on. And there we go, that's the crunch we want to hear. That's the sound of the sensors getting jammed into the plastic holders. Okay, put my mark on it. Here in the alignment, just ever so slightly off on your tip, and you go to push the screw in, and then it just buckles off to the side. And you gotta back up and try again. risk it with those long screw damage type screw holes. Start cramming it in a bit too aggressively and it will not be a quick repair anymore. Okay. Come on, pick up the screw. It's a fine balance on the magnetics between the driver and the magnetic pad. Okay, I think we're done. Close up. Yep, person's got a buckled case, so it's not perfect. Let's see if we get anything? Anything? Wow, you're that flat. Let's see. One amp. Okay, we've got a logo coming up, so that's good. It's just dead flat, that's all. So flat that it couldn't even show me the charge logo. Put these pentalobes back in. Yeah, do yourself a favour if you have got the money to invest. Get these pentalobe drivers and the tri-wing driver off Wearer. They are actually genuinely worth it. Alright, that's that one done. Hey, Shameless James, thank you very much for the 3. Appreciate that. Work. Yes, I've been working since 4:30 this morning. Actually, I haven't really. I've been babysitting since then. Let's Oh, Jared, I hope you find out what's causing it. Otherwise, you're just going to have to drill and wire those nuts. That's the way you got to do it on the motorbikes. Well, pretty much anything. Waiting on a flight instructor. Go do some flat spins today. Seriously, Seamus? What are you flying today? Alright, so that's the 6 done and out of my hair. So now I've got to do this 8. That looks like a freaking disaster. I did not check to see if they had any bends in this. Okay, it seems alright. It's a train wreck. Thankfully it doesn't look like it's going into the dreaded false touch, let me put in the passcode too many times situation. I get so many phones that are ruined in terms of data because of that. Every now and then I will post up on the local community to remind people to turn off things like auto raise, Wacom raise and stuff like that. Doesn't seem to help, to be honest. I just still constantly get people bringing in the phones where it's just been locked out because of the touch issue. Ah, shoot, Pete. Come on. There we go. Okay, this is an 8, obviously, because it's got the glass back. Okay. Fun thing about the 8 is you don't need the TriStar quite as much. Which is kind of disappointing because you invest the money on a really good TriStar screwdriver and then you don't even have to use it as much. You feel cheated. Come on, get off. So once we've got these 2 out of the way, we can get to more interesting things. Yeah, Jared, you definitely have to drill and wire those suckers. Used to always have to do it on the racing motorbikes and the drag bikes. You'd think you wouldn't have to on a drag motorbike or car. You think, well, I'm only going to go down the road for about 10 seconds. What do I need that for? Still amazing how many times screws came off. I've lost a screw down the side there. I'll get it in a bit. this camera trio don't seem to actually have a very strong magnetic attraction. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I imagine it is. Let's see if we can get that screw out before we lose it permanently. Where'd you go? There you go. So look, see what other damage they've done here. This is just a screen replacement, but I do want to at least get an observational. I did so many times the iPhone 8 battery I've had slip back on without me intentionally doing it. It's caused me a few heart attacks. Okay. Citation C4J today, working on some recoveries. Okay, I don't actually know that one, to be honest. Sounds like a fun job though. Sort of. Terrifying but fun. Oh, someone just smashed something. Okay, you can sit to the side. Let's start disassembling this thing. Is anyone finding they have to do serial number transfers on the iPhone 8s yet for the screens? I've been getting lucky so far, but then I am always using refurb screens, so I don't know if that's making a difference. Could be just luck of the draw. Alright, so this is my tri-wing wearer. Take the home button one out first, so you don't have an accidental yank or twist or anything like that happening. Yeah, for years, well not for years, for a long time I did not do the 7 and the 8s because of the concerns about the, I'd read all the stories about the home buttons tearing and things like that. But now that I've been doing it a little while, I can see that it was perhaps a little bit of an excessive fear. It doesn't seem like it's quite as bad as what I was worried about. Have you gotten the programmer? Sonia, what program are you talking about? Oh, no, not for the, I haven't got anything for these. I've just been swapping them and, yeah, that's it. Yeah, makes short work of getting those out. This little chip lifter. Alright, I've got to do the same for this one as well. I find 250 heat on these flexes does a pretty good job. Let you get them out pretty easy, but without risking melting things. Was a bit smashed up. Damn it. The little foam ring's been damaged, unfortunately. Normally I do transfer that across. This little bit of... I might still be able to do that one. It won't be the greatest, but I might still be able to get it. Get off. Static electricity. So here we go. The hard thing is not to pull too much on it, else it just causes it to stretch and distort. Ah. There we go. Alrighty, now the rest of the tri-wings. After this we have a Toughmax phone that needs to have its external antenna port resoldered. I've done this on the T84 ZTE Toughmax, but this is a different variation of it. I'm not exactly sure what the designation is, but it's different colour, slightly different body, but the same design fault. Let's get this off. Wow, has chat died on me? Am I still connected? Let's see if I'm still connected. Yep, still there. Okay, cool. I don't have my status window up for the stream, so I can't be sure. Do a bin job as well. Fold up the paper because that contains all the broken glass. Material stresses, oh, that's always fun. Mechanical statics. Looks like there was some liquid damage in there at some point. Anyone watch the rather protracted and painful Rossmann repair yesterday with all the CD3215s? It would have driven most of us mad, I'm sure. Here we go, another one with all the damn useless stickers all over it. And there's a little bit of glass there. Somehow I don't think I'm going to get that off. Especially not with the big piece of junk on there. At this point I'm not sure this is going to be worth it, but oh well. I'm sure I can buy these by the 100, but I don't have any. Marvelous. There was not exactly a very... the screen was a mess. The back of the phone is still a mess. And I said to the person to go take it to the local Apple service provider, but yeah, So I can't replace the backs on these. I don't have the required equipment, referring to lasers, of course. And I'll be honest and say I'm not really interested in investing in that. If I was running a shopfront kiosk or something like that, then yeah, I mean, I suppose with the number of jobs you'd get, it'd be worth getting, but I really am not clocking up the numbers to make it worthwhile. And I tell the people that, I say, just go take it down to Townsville, down to the Apple authorized service provider, and get them to do a whole body replacement or whatever. I mean, it's going to cost them a bit, but then again, they'll have basically a brand new phone. I suppose some people, when they're out this far, they might have already been on their way out, and so they don't really want to turn around and add another 3 hours of travel to their round trip. Thanks, Greg. Yes, the Open Board Data Initiative. I've changed things around a little bit. I was originally doing a compiled single file type database situation, but I've decided in the end now we're just going to leave it as a tree, as it were. All it is just a bunch of text files in a folder tree. Easy peasy. There's really nothing much to it. About the hardest thing is just learning how to do Git stuff, like how to do a pull request and stuff like that. What's going on here? Why am I'm being all a bit slow in the head doing that? Come on. Hey Defcon, how's it going? Yeah, Christensen, the glass. Well, I mean, when you think about it, the 4 and the 4S had glass on the back, but you could actually replace them. Not so now. I mean, I know there's tools to do it, but it's a bit crazy, really. The amount of effort you have to go to in order to replace the back glass. It's technically seems to be more difficult than replacing the display itself. I mean, that's kind of messed up. Again, I apologize for the lighting situation. I'm down 40 watts of LED power because it just died on me. Okay, do not, for the love of God, talk that up too much. So how do people manage to crack the home buttons by over-talking them? I mean, really, that's some serious effort you got to put into that. Okay, it's not massive, but it's a fair bit of effort nonetheless. I think if you can do that, you probably are in the wrong industry. Maybe you should look at getting into car repair, where you can express your daily anger on a torque wrench. Phones are definitely not the place for it. Well, for me, Sonia, it's not. Definitely not here. I'm really noticing it. There's a little speck of blue in there. God, you're gonna drive me insane. Gotcha. Let that be a lesson to you. I will say this is as awkward as it looks, even in the microscope. Oh, I'm just not feeling comfortable right now with this. Another good reason to make sure you're always wearing gloves, so you don't end up putting filthy fingerprints all over the various glass elements. Okay. Hey Gasman. Def Bombs, I think the whole workshop needs a remake stream. It's well overdue for it, that's for sure. Got to redo the fume hood, got to redo the benches, got to redo the lighting, got to redo the camera setup, got to redo the screens. Everything has to be redone. Because of the fact that I changed the way I'm going to do business now, like basically I'm shutting down, for the most part, all the PC type repairs, general Windows IT stuff, particularly in this room. I'll still do some of it in the administration reception office, because I do have enough bench space there just to do like one laptop or one desktop, and that's fine. It suits me. But all this area here, it's all got to be revamped to suit the new type of work. Okie dokie. Yes, that's a wrecked back, that is. Wrecked with a K. Cleaning a bad Toshiba hard drive. CRC errors. DD Rescue. Oh yeah. Hey Bailey. DD Rescue indeed is a marvelous piece of software. It's one of the few open source projects that I contribute to in terms of finances and a bit of code every now and then. Although Antonio maintains that project like I like to maintain mine, where people will make suggestions and people will submit various patches, but what he will do is he will look at the code, see what it does, how it works and all that, and then he will re-implement it his own way. And it seems like at first you think he's giving you the snub, but really it works well because it means that he gets to integrate your idea or suggestion along with your guidance through the code to best match the way that he's planning on doing everything for the project. And so he's actually investing more time into it, doing it that way, than if he just applies your patch directly. So you sort of consider it a bit of a compliment in some ways. What? You just popped out the... That was weird. The DocFlex just jumped out completely on its own. Don't normally have that happen. Normally you've got to fight to get that DocFlex off. And anyway, I'm the same with my code a lot of the time. People say, oh, here's a patch for doing this and this and this, and I'll look at it and go, yeah, okay, well, I'm going to do it slightly differently, but thanks to the idea and whatever, and I'll still put your name in the contributors list. But the code will be edited, as it were. Okay, what am I missing here? That's just gone straight through. What's going on? Sorry, I know you guys can't really see this, but that long screw just went straight through. It's not... This is weird. Should not be doing that. Alright, what's going on? It's just not seeming to bite into that for some reason. So we've got short, short, long, long. Looks like, oh, those. Yeah, I actually am not a fan of the side Systema ones. They were the ones I originally started with, but in the end I found I really didn't like them that much. I prefer the newer. Yeah, I'll show it later. Anyway, I'm not a great fan of the ones that you can see stacked up there. At least some of them. Then again, I may have them both mixed up there, so no one's going to know which is which. No, there's just no... What is going on here? Why won't you... That is weird. That took... Yeah, it gives me the willies. It did bite in the end, but it only like had 3/4 of a turn. Okay, I'm obviously just going to take this away. Tiller. Won't be surprised if there's other damage on this phone. I've got the feeling it has. Yeah, maybe. Home button works. Alright. Okay, that works. Check the cameras. Camera 1 works. Camera 2 works. Oh my god, that's my ugly face. Alright. And we're picking up the network, so that's good. Slide it off, and then I can reassemble it. Out of these clip locks. Well, these ones I'm not a fan of. They've got the nice sealing ring in them, but I'm not a fan of them. That sealing ring actually causes more dramas than not. But these ones for general work, yeah, I prefer these. Alright, now let's get the screen back on, and hopefully we will not crimp our cable. So gotta be sure of that. You don't want to crimp your cable. You do that and start. You go back to the start. See, like if you push down on that right now, that is going to be, as Dave Jones says, wah wah wah. So you gotta push it in. Yeah, I think we all do it, Bailey, at least once. First time I did it was on an iPhone 7 Plus screen, and that was probably one of the first ones I did. And I was just so nervous about everything that I overlooked that, and I knew what I'd done once I pushed down, because it was buckling up on the side of the screen as if something was obstructing it, and I was like, oh no. It did an IP10. Oh man. Yeah, that sucks even more. Alright, well, that's alive again, so it's good. Person will be happy. And now that you've all endured through this protracted process, yeah, that's good. We can get on to the more interesting things. Sort of. So, okay, you're good too. Okay, so both these phones are done. And I need a container to put them in so I can send them back out the front. Right. What are you, a random chip, or are you a random chip? What are you? You look like a mason, I think. I don't know why there's a mason in my container. Okay. Out to the front they can go. Alright, so this is the alternate Toughmax phone compared to the orange and black ones that you may have seen me do. Thank you, Michael Carrera. Appreciate that. Hey, Nicholas Heidel. So here in Canada, the hype of Black Friday and Cyber Monday exceeded the stuff that was actually a good deal on the websites. Have to know your prices. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a bit like when what was it? eBay sort of went from being the place to get bargains to basically the place to get scammed. Arnold G, I can tell you now it's not EFI, or at least I don't think it is. It's because it will generate screen output on the what do you call it? DisplayPort Thunderbolt. And if I plug it into another screen, it sometimes will also work. So it's just really weird. And there's a little bit of damage. Oh man, this one little SOBs. Okay, these are the 0.9 hex. It was bad enough that they had one on each side in the past. Now they've got two. They've really knocked it up a notch. Keep forgetting to buy a proper 0.9mm hex driver. It's not the backlight chip, the backlight works, and it's not the LCD, because the LCD works. I plug another board into the chassis, it all works fine. I plug the board, I plug the faulty board into another display, and sometimes it's fine too. So yeah, it's a real twister. Now I think what it is actually Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt port has a fault in it, and I think it's messing with the signaling. It's not the lid sensor either, because it's coming up with the backlight and everything. And SMC lid is showing the correct signals. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. So, and I'm gonna dig into it a bit more. Alright, so the fault here, what we got, this is classic for this sort of system, is our little antenna jack. Well, someone's been a bit abusive with it, and we're gonna hopefully fix that. To be fair, it's not actually abuse that kills these things. Oh, just fell right out. I have not actually disassembled one of these before. What the hell? You got some weird janky stuff for your... Not sure how to get that one out. What have we got here? Yeah, that's totally normal people. Let me guess, I've got to put something into that hole. Maybe something a little finer, like a 0.9 hex driver. 0.9 hex is too big. Come on, where's my favorite little tweezers? There we go. Yep, sim itself can't. Okay, that was a dual one. Okay, so I'm definitely dealing with a different board here, because the one I'm used to does not have dual. Man, this is gonna be a pain. I just realised now I've got no idea how to get into this. Sure hope it's like the other one. Yeah, kind of feels like it. My trusty but dying spudger saves the day again. I don't know how many screws or tricks I've missed here. Okay, there's a flex under there, so scammy little SOBs. Something's holding it down the bottom here, I think. Can't believe they'd stick a flex and just... Yeah, it's just... Oh, glue. Fantastic, glue. Well, first time you open that up, you're going to probably tear that if you're not careful. The hell's... That's it. Okay, it's a button. Can I get that off? Yeah. Awful design. What is that even for? You just... Some flex with a couple of capacitors on. Oh, you're a touch sensor on the back. Rightio. Trying to get all fancy. And we can't even get to the battery without undoing that first. What a pain. Someone's been taking lessons from Apple. Hey Nick Javici, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, my apologies. Please don't kill me. Alright. See if we can get this battery disconnected, and then I can worry about whether I can even fix up that. Like I said, never pulled one of these before. Oh, there's another screw there. Thank you, lack of LED lighting. I almost broke that off. Okay. Now, let's use the metal spudger to get the battery click. No, I won't do that to you guys. It was a sick, sad joke, I'm sorry. SD card, what? I've been busy reverse engineering a time system to make an interface which will dump data to an SD card with transmission via Wi-Fi or to a website. Definitely, I'm kind of curious, what about the existing Wi-Fi enabled SD cards? Like if you write to a text file or something like that on those, would that have the same effect? Or are you just deciding that you want to have a shot at doing it your own way? Which of course I completely and utterly support. I know there's one out there now that doesn't require any sort of third-party server or anything. It just... curious, I could actually see if I could just get a daughter board for this, replacement daughter board, because that's all that is. It's just a... Man, they really went to town on that. Yeah, I have got a spare one of these, so I think I might daughter board it. So if you give me, at least I can't imagine there's anything signature key wise on this. I mean, we could have a shot at repairing it, but see, the big problem I've got here is, see how it's torn free of the main bonding area. So it gives me a little bit of concern. So I'm fairly sure I've got a spare of these somewhere. Now the question is, can I even get this up and off? Are you just glued down? You're just bloody well glued down, aren't you? Yeah. Or were you? Are you? Yes. Yep. Just some weirdo glue. Well, I suppose that's a step up from the previous type, where it was all part of the main board. So at least now we've got a daughter board we can just change. Yeah, DEFCON, there's about 12 months ago a Wi-Fi SD card came out where it was, yeah, it's not a micro SD, it is normal full SD. The ones that originally came out, they were all tied to some third-party server, so whenever you wanted to upload your pictures, it kind of had to go via the third party. But there's a new one out now that just, it acts as a Wi-Fi enabled storage device. So have a look around for it. It might be useful, might save you having to develop anything. But like I said, I mean, if you want to develop something for yourself, then by all means. Just thought I'd see if I could cut your development time down there. Just going to go get my donor. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, got a. Fortunately, was given a bunch of these type of phones a while ago, just as donors, spare parts. Looks like, lo and behold, it's actually proved to be useful. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Where's my T8 gone? There we go. Hopefully this one's okay. Needs to work over about 400 meters of obstacles. Oh, okay. Well, that's a no-go. Hey, Peter. Right. Where did that 0.9 mil hex driver go? Okay, that's the customers. Ah, rotten damned little things. I do have another one, but I prefer not take it out of the case and use it without finding the original one. Ah, there it is. Attached magnet. Hey Leonard, how's it going? I'll have to have 7 working at the same time without collision issues. Fortunately, at least I'd imagine the modern Wi-Fi protocol stack should handle that, but your other requirements are certainly, for the distance thing is going to be quite the issue. Absolutely. Most of these little Wi-Fi cards are probably good for maybe 7 meters, if that. Oh, damn it. Every time I buy myself new screwdrivers and stuff, I always seem to forget to get this 0.9 mil driver. Because I say to myself, well, I'm probably never going to use those again. I can't imagine I'm going to see any more of these T84s ever again. And I don't think I know of any other device using 0.9 mil. But lo and behold, it happens. It's a bit like chance of anything coming from Mars. 1,000,000 to 1. And still they come. What do you prefer? MacBooks or phones? I do prefer MacBooks. Phones can be very interesting. Well, they are very interesting, but overall, MacBooks definitely are more my thing. I think I don't quite have the hand stability and lack of anxiety to cope with iPhone requirements. At least with a MacBook you can get pretty sloppy with them and they don't bite too much. Whereas with an iPhone you get sloppy with that and yeah, the penalties are pretty high. If you look at all the people botching up iPhone 7 audio IC repairs, it's like refloat it with a Wagner heat gun. Why don't I get reception anymore? Okay. Actually, to be fair, that's just the industry in general at the moment. A lot of people who have come in for the gold mine, and fair enough, money is a great attractor, and when you get told you can make $200 or $300 for no real capital outlay in terms of the parts to do the job, ignoring of course they ripped the Torx driver straight out through the case. Explains why that was a bit weird. So yeah, it's understandable that you get every Tom, Dick and Harry coming along to join in on the party. but it is causing a lot of issues at the watering holes. Natural sort of scenario of resources are limited, people start getting a bit snarky and the fights start. Okay, this has got a much better looking antenna connector, so we will use this one indeed. Give me back my... Thank you. Yeah, there really just isn't a lot of point repairing that. I have tried to repair them in this state before, and it works for a bit, but inevitably what happens is that it does still tear through. And I have tried doing things like putting JB Weld down to help it and that, but it seems like once you've lost that copper grip, it's pretty much over. So I'm not really sure if I should try and do anything about it here. I think I'm just going to leave this one be. Considering that we can just replace these daughter boards, that's probably going to be the ideal option. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned here is... I'm just looking at the pin contact in the middle there. It looks a little bit pushed over. You have to be really careful with these. If you go and shove fine implements in there, or the wrong diameter implement into that hole to try and test the switch, you will inevitably damage the switch and it will cease to function properly after that. Most of these high rose type connectors, not high rose, these aren't high rose, these are something else. Yeah, they do not like having the inappropriate size contact pushed through into them. You will break the little contact switches. Mostly what happens is it forces them open too far and they don't spring back anymore, and then you find you no longer have any reception quality. Just warning you. Happens quite a bit on Samsung phones. Okay, that's that. What's next? Battery. Not keen on these sort of scenarios where you have to reconnect the battery while you're working on the equipment still. So the 5S, of course, is a classic for that. The Jim Hook, they're all pull tabs. At least they're better these days to have pull tabs. Unlike the old 4S and worse 3GS and 3, where you basically had to prise the dillies out of them. I do wish they would give MacBooks pull tab batteries. Maybe they do now, but Yeah, you get like the 1502, 1398s and things like that. There is no pull tabs on those. You've got to fight tooth and nail to get those things out. Yeah, okay, you guys aren't going to see this, but I've got to do this right. Oh wait, you might get to see it. Because it's under the microscope. Yeah, yeah. Good design, chaps. Good design. Crunchy noises. Also known sometimes as very expensive noises. Sometimes. Looks like we got away with murder on that one. Murder on the dance floor. Yeah. See if this thing even powers up. It's still alive. It's a start. Hopefully it picks up reception now. Guess we'll see. Come on, boot already. Boot. No service, limited service, emergency calls only, Telstra. Come on. 4G, 4 bars, that's pretty good for here. Alright, looks like that's one fixed phone now. Let's finish putting the screws in. We can pack that one away. Oh, okay. Yep. This is going to make a few noises as it realizes that it's now able to talk to the world again. Oh no. Sounds like my cat at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Wow. He's upgraded from yowling now to cutting me. Yeah, things are getting serious. So the other night I'm going to bed and I feel like I've got something attached to my foot, some sort of like piece of grass or leaf or something, some random thing that I picked up on the way to bed. And so I yank on it on the bottom of my foot, and it turns out it's actually a piece of my skin. And it's just been neatly sliced away by Milo and his terrifying cutting claws attacking me at 4 o'clock the previous morning. Oh, Arnold G, the Christmas tree brings out the worst, doesn't it? I mean, it's so delightful, but it's so terrifying. We are actually forgoing our Christmas tree this year. Sadly, I took it down the dump about 2 days ago. It still was a pretty decent Christmas tree, but we're just in a situation right now where we have to very quickly, hopefully, save up around about 30,000 Australian dollars, 20 or 30,000, preferably 30, and then go pick up a loan for 150 within about 18, 24 months. So it's going to be a challenge to bring up that sort of money. It's yeah, it's not the easiest sort of amount of money to come by, but it is doable if I get strict. Well, it's hard to get strict. So unfortunately, people sending me requests for freebies and things like that for Flex Boardview and whatnot, you're probably not going to get any luck with me. Don't take it as a personal affront or offense or anything like that. It's just, I'm not rich. And there's also Open Boardview. I know Open Boardview is not as easy to use as Flex Boardview, but then that's the point, isn't it? So here's Open Boardview, does the job, gets you through the repair. I mean, come on, Lewis Rossman used it for many years. Okay, many two. And he maintained a perfectly good rate of business. So I'm pretty sure everyone else can as well. And realistically, when you think about it, if you repair one machine, if you haven't made enough profit off one machine repair, then you're doing business wrong. It's pretty much that simple. I can understand if you're just doing it casually, that's different. But from a business perspective, if you're not making enough profit to buy a copy of license, if you're not making enough profit off a single MacBook repair to buy a single license of Flex Boardview, and then you need to change your pricing policy, because you're never going to get anywhere with that kind of pricing. Alright, this can all just go in here, and I'll put that into my collection of trash. Oops, forgot the SIM carrier. Alright, it's another job done. That one doesn't have to get picked up until Friday anyway, but I just wanted it out of the way. So now we can finally return to what everybody's been waiting for, the main feature, now that you've all endured the supporting acts and the previews. The MacBook. First look at it. Try and... Come on now. Come on. There we go. That just took a few more squirts than usual. So that's going to need a bit of alcohol to lift that. The lethal one, was he here? Limping around somewhere? Okay. Trying to get everything put away before I forget, like these 0.9mm damn hex drivers. Tranquil business slow after 2 weeks of opening. That's still pretty normal, isn't it? Okay, where are you? Alright, so this is the board in question. Hooray, everybody says. Jim, that's his loss then, isn't it? He stuck around for an instant, he would have gotten to see. Now, like I said, overall the board looks quite pristine. I couldn't find anything really wrong with it originally. I checked the screen connector, it all seemed fine. And it was just the other night I was checking after we had that event where the Thunderbolt connector from the A1398 a couple of days ago, where the tongue was, crushed down, causing troubles. So I thought I'd check this Thunderbolt connector, and I'll show you. Well, you'll get to see what it was, and you can probably just, hopefully, maybe, perhaps not, who knows, see that there's this little bit of discoloration on that pin there, on that third pin that's on the top side. This is the bottom where it has the bevels, and you can see it's been used a fair bit. There's a fair bit of metallic adhesion there, Now, the trouble with these connectors is that, well, they're just not easy to get off the board, so you can't really just say, hey, remove it, because more than likely you'll take out the USB, and then so you try to replace the USB and you take out the SD. It's a bit of a cascade of hell. So what I might try to do is first see if I can isolate this port away, and who knows. Alright, so the theory I've got is see if I can disable the communication lines. It doesn't seem to be the hot plug insert situation. That was one of my first thoughts, is maybe it thinks it's hot plugged, but it was not that. 34, 37. What? No, sorry, I'm just losing my head here slightly. My settings are a little bit wrong. Who changed my settings? It's better. All in. Okay, so we have a look at J3200. And we see got this hot plug line here. Now I thought that might have been at fault, but it doesn't come into play. My guess is it's either this lane 0N or lane 2P. I'm not sure which, because it depends on which way that this interface drawing is referring to, in terms of whether you're looking towards or away, towards the back or towards the front of the connector. Since we don't have the data sheet particularly here, we're just going to have to make an estimate. It's one or the other. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these caps, these 32, 72, 73, 70, blah, 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 and see if it makes any difference at all. So let's see, 32. Right, and it's the caps sitting underneath this shield. Now, it's not actually the caps that are going to be at fault, but it's, like I said, it's a case of I'm trying to isolate that port to see if I can get it to basically prove my theory. That's really what it comes down to. Hey, Werner Lemon, how's it going? You don't normally pop the lid off this section, and what I'm really fearing is that we're going to have to deal with this, because this is the Thunderbolt chip. I really, 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 really do not want to have to do anything with that. Okay, low melt, yeah, might help, but in the end you're still going to get melting effect. In some ways you're almost better off just shoving it into a reflow oven and hope for the best. So what I'm going to do here is just shift these slightly off their bases. I got the right 460, yep, 460, 110, we're good. It's going to take a little bit because that shield, even though it doesn't seem very big, is going to influence. Alright, so they're out of the picture, so we should have absolutely no data transfer going across them. Alright. Try our luck now. I don't really need to be putting this fan in here, but I'm going to do it for the sake of simulating a proper machine, even though it's complete bollocks. Now, there's my test screen. And this is actually the customer screen, so I'm not going to use that. I do love this extension cable. If you do work on MacBooks and on the 1466s or anything like that, then it's worth getting one of these extension cables. They're very handy. Very, very handy. Okay. 18 volts, power up. Okay, it's 34, 37, so I'm going to go stop, start, stop, start. Stop, start, stop, start, start, start. Now I know the screen definitely energizes. There's a dark sort of olive green hue. There, it's gone black now. And we should hopefully in less than a minute get a flashing folder. But more than likely we are not going to. Now I know that the CPU is alive. Now it does not look like I'm going to get that folder, so we still haven't solved that problem. Oh wait, yeah, there we go. Alright, so we've got a folder, so let's put those capacitors back on and see if that folder goes away. Hey Rob! Yeah, I haven't seen any for that year, the 2011-12s. In fact, I haven't seen it for any other models except for this particular one. I'm pretty sure it works, well don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly sure it should work on the 1502s and 1398s as well. Do not quote me on that. Now the reason why I'm going to put these back on is because that could have just been pure flukiness. The other thing is it could have maybe by doing the rework of moving those around, I've actually cleared the fault out of the connector itself. So just a little bit more flux. Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. And I actually initially diagnosed this as a bad screen. And something just kept wigging me about it, and I decided finally after the last couple of weeks, I thought, oh, I'll have another look at it. Because sometimes when you come back to things, you just get a change of perception, and it gives you that break, that little bit of a hint that you were looking for that you couldn't see before. Hey Rob, wait, I already said hello to you, didn't I? Repeating myself now. Old timer's disease kicking in hard. Now if this keeps working now, then I would say that what's probably happened is the connector internals, that bit of corrosion, the heat probably like broke it free of whatever misbehavior it was causing. If it misbehaves still, again, then I would say that the connector is just too faulty and we'll have to leave those capacitors completely off. That's probably cooled down reasonably well now, hasn't it? I mean, come on, how long does it need to cool down? Okay. We've got the fan on it, that'll help it. There we go. Let's see how we go this time. Like I said, it's really throwing me because I would not have normally expected the screen to energize as if it was about to get display sent to it, data sent to it, and then not. So I'll give it a minute and see if it comes up good. Kind of hoping it doesn't. Yeah, we're all growing old eventually, unfortunately. I was just thinking this year, there's a whole bunch of people from my school year that are... Oh man, now you are working? Okay, so it looks like it was a dodgy connector causing the trouble. Oh, fun and games. Hilarious. Now this is my screen. I'm going to plug it into their screen now. Oh, good. Thank you. Did the other person pick up yet? Okay. Oh boy. Sorry, I just got to sort out a couple of things here. Can you fix a potential IC board problem on iPhone 7? No. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. Okay. The reason why I don't want to is because I don't have sufficient experience to avoid the dreaded baseband oxidization ball problem. I mean, it's fine if I'm stuffing around with it myself, but you can guarantee if I decide, yeah, sure, if I was like many of these gung-ho businesses, I'd go, yeah, sure, bring it in, man, we can do it, totally, I've done at least 2 of them now. Then it will definitely, absolutely 100% botch up. 47. Ah, Nick. Same as me. Congratulations. Okay, here we go. Let's try again, see if we get another folder. Yeah, Rob, you gotta stop making yourself sad like that. We're trying hard to make your life better. Oh, mentally age, probably I don't think I'm much more than 22, 25. Yeah. I don't know who the real adults in this world are. I mean, you look at the presidents of countries and stuff like that and you think, are they really adults or are they just big kids and don't really know what they're doing? I think we all know the answer to that. Come on, give me a flashing board thingy-jiggy-wiggy. If this doesn't give me a flashing folder, I'm going to lose my head a bit. Because I can guarantee you if I plug in another board, it will work on this screen. Yeah, this isn't going to flash, is it? You little rat bag, what is going on? No folder flashy. Alrighty, gonna play that game. Okay, 165. We'll use the 3437 since we want to keep things together. We got audio drift? Okay. We'll fix that up. Alright, still no flash. Flash is dead. So you can see why this was driving me insane. Now I'm going to plug in what should be a known good working board. Let's see what happens. Take note that I am actually plugging this into the extension flex, not the screen flex, screen connector itself. Okay, we've got power. 5x5, radio. I've got no fan running on this, so I'm just going to have a look at the screen to see whether it energizes. Hopefully, yep, okay, we've got the energizing. And we've got the folder flash. Alright, so riddle me that. Riddle me that. What is going on? It's almost... It's like in the days when we used to, with networking, and you would find that for whatever reason, a computer and the hub it was connected to just did not like each other. You could take the computer to another hub, it would work. You can plug another computer into the same port of that hub and it would work. But if you bring the two of them together, it would not. And these would be just dumb hubs. They wouldn't be smart hubs with MAC address sorting and stuff like that. And they weren't switching hubs or anything. And it'd just drive you insane. In the end, you just sort of like, give up. You'd reboot the hub, you'd factory reset and everything, and it'd still do it. So what we have here is what appears to be an apparent case of this board simply does not like that specific screen. Well, we'll try it again, Defcom. There could be a heat issue, yes. Oh, you're saying put it back on my screen. Right, I just understood what you were saying there. It could be a heat issue. Man. You just notice there's a damn nick impact at the back of this screen. Right, yeah, you can't see it, but it's right there. And in this corner too. Maybe we do have a dodgy screen. Anyway, okay, so this board will have cooled down. Yeah, Greg, it makes you feel like it is blacklisted. I mean, obviously it's not, but it certainly feels that way. Though there are times when your sense of what's rational can go out the window a bit. Oh, come on, get out of there. That keyboard backlight flex is going to snap on my screen one of these days. And it's going to be all my fault. There we go. Should put a piece of Captain tape on it to save it. Okay. So we've got the supposedly faulty board in the good screen now. Well, I should rather say the screen we know is good. Hey JR. Oh, and Ernest McCollum's here. Hey, you've been here a while, haven't you, Ernest? Come on. Come on. I dare you to flash at me. It could be, as Defcom just said, it could be a cooling down thing. In which case, the game will be afoot. Defcom might have actually got the money on this one. The whole $0.00. Oh, there we go. It is working there. Crap on a cracker. This is the main act, Ernest, I'm afraid. It's feeling a bit lackluster right now. Lethal One, hello. Man, we're going to have to call you Terminator or something soon. See if you keep running after we like fry all your flesh off and See if your titanium underbody keeps going like a robot. Alrighty. So that flashes just fine in my good board, good screen. Yes, Mr. Dead CPU, harbinger of CPU death. How do you feel about that, Anil, knowing that people now look at you that way? Children shriek as you approach. Okay, F1, what's this MV RAM reset? Okay. Excuse me for being an idiot, but I actually don't know how to do an MV RAM reset on these. MacBook MV RAM reset. Is this the one where you've got flipping... Gotta have... Oh, it is. Command Option PR. Okay. Yucky yuck. How many beeps do you guys normally wait for this? I've heard some people say 2, some people say 3. So, Command Option P... Far out PR. Man, could be a freaking contortionist for these. Guess who didn't put the speaker connector on? Crap. I'll just have to assume. Greg, no. The customer's mainboard, my screen. I don't know if I've held that down enough. I think I really need to hold that speaker down. Yeah, I did plug the keyboard in. I was just sitting there chewing 21 milliamp. That wasn't at all even responsibly right. Okay, let me put a screw in here so it feels a little more secure. Oh, just realised I got to tell someone that the iPhone 7 screen's arrived. Sorry. Screen's arrived. Screen's arrived. Marvellous. Gotta keep the jobs ticking. Reason is your screen has no problem. It's when... Yes, my screen has no problem, but I thought I might... Oh, you're saying I should do the MV RAM reset with the customer screen? I suppose that makes sense really, doesn't it? And as it was, the speaker was connected. Damn it. Get the rubber chicken out and sacrifice it. It's certainly been a tricky one. At the time when I did diagnosis, it was on stream, funnily enough. on first glance, it certainly did seem like it was just a bad screen, because we plugged in. That was the thing. We plugged in the Thunderbolt to get the external display, and it came up good. So I thought, oh right, fair enough. Bad LCD. But there was always something about that situation that was wigging me slightly, and so that's why I kept coming back to this machine. I haven't sent it back to the customer yet, even though I keep saying I'm going to, because there's just been something about it that's been annoying me, and that's what it is. Okay. No, I don't want no stinking T4, we want T5. I do wish the Wera drivers had better markings on them for letting you know which one's which. I'd say that is their primary weakness. Hey, Mr. Sinister R. You might have to use the left kind and get option the vector. Oh, crikey, really? Great, great, fantastic. Just what a left-handed person wants to know. But no, that is actually good information to have. That really doesn't make it easy. Okay, control option PR, so we can take, yeah, like that. Strange that I'm not getting a bong. I'm gonna let it go and see what it does. Doing something, but it's sitting at 6:30. Speakers connected. Maybe I didn't press it right. Screen work with the other board. Yes, that is correct, Greg. Does Command Option PR have to be pressed as the power is plugged in or after the power is plugged in? Yep, we just had a screen flash. Oh, there we go, we've got some life now. Well, bong at least. Okay, it's 2 bongs. Let's see if we can ride this out. I'm not pressing it anymore, dude. Yes, we have a folder. Well. Alright. Someone want to explain that one to me? Because I'm really curious as to why an NV RAM reset would do that. Because I would never have thought to do that. And yeah, sure enough, it's at least trying to give me options. Fine, be like that. Don't give me... It should have been giving me the option for the boot, but guess not. Where the heck's my MRI? Since this is a 3437, I can actually use the MRI. It's got internet recovery, that's not much use to me. It's picked up the EFI BIOS boot, MRI. See how we go. It's going to complain like hell because it's basically got nothing connected to it. Yeah, I'm very curious as to what caused it. Yeah, like I said, it's just not something I would have normally have thought to have done. Which makes me extra glad that I did not do anything stupid like reflow the Thunderbolt chip. Hey Donald Elliott, maybe screen mirroring was set to external screen match, so I kept it that set. And that's possible, Defcom, because yeah, I mean the external screen was working fine. Is this the one which had the other port issues? No, that was a 1398. It wasn't this one in particular. Different screen might have caused it to ignore, so maybe the different screen, because it has a different serial number in it, got a different entry in the table. Yeah, it's possible, yeah. Nick Jovovic, would you be interested in running workshops, help you to get your savings target? Unfortunately not. I've done training in the past and it's really not for me. And also the amount of money, there's a fairly large lead time between what you invest and what you get back with that sort of thing. And I really don't... Really, in all honesty, if I just keep my job queue full, then I'll make my required goal quick enough. A lot of it comes down to me in the end. It's not really anything more than me. Like, you know, you can see all this trash in the background here. That's all. This whole thing has to be cleared out, turned into a workspace that's better designed for handling business-to-business type, or just MacBook type repairs. As opposed to the PC repair scenario it was being worked in before. It's... Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to blame or to say I depend on some external factor to help me get through this, but really it all comes down to me. Yeah, memory test, you're taking your time. Memory video allocation. It's certainly an interesting folder. That's the first time I've encountered it being something like this. And the MRI is passing, battery naturally will fail, disk drive naturally is failing, sensors will be failing because the battery, battery temperature sensors have got issues, satellite sensor, oh yeah, the camera's not connected, that's good. So, yeah, it's good, looks like that's fixed in that case. Ah, nice. And this will not be a normal fee on this one because basically it was not really an electronics issue. Yeah, oh well. Still, there will be a fee to pay on this, but it just won't be the big normal fee, which is pretty good. Hey, bus. Thunderbolt caps, yes, they're back in place. I did, but I will have to actually put the metal cap back on top. There's a few other things I have to clean up. I'll put it through the ultrasonic probably, and yeah, put it all back together, and it'll go back to the person, and they'll be happy. Yeah, it's still a win, so that's good. The customer will be happy. This is actually a recycling customer, so it wasn't super critical in terms of time for them, but it's nice for them to have another machine on hand for them to then sell off, so they'll be all good. Alright, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. I really need to go and finish up my paperwork for the day and sort out a couple of customers that I've got to pick up stuff. But thanks very much for that. The main feature ended up being a bit of a more of an interesting type thing, even though there wasn't really any soldering involved. But learned something, so I was happy about that. You should have clients do NVRAMs you set before shipping. Funnily enough, Arnold, most of them do. So I guess I fell into an assumption there. Most of them will do a PRAM, NVRAM, all those sort of diagnostic and tests that they can do themselves before sending it to me. And I guess every now and then sometimes it just doesn't happen. Yeah, paperwork, juicy stuff. Okay, so thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all later. Don't let the dingoes bite. Take care.